100 years ago, a Tennessee biology teacher was put on trial for teaching evolution, igniting a national argument about science, faith, and public education. A century after the Scopes monkey trial, that argument still shapes American classrooms and courtrooms. It began in July 1925 in Dayton, Tennessee. John T. Scopes was charged with violating a state law that banned any lesson contradicting the Bible's creation story. The case, staged partly to put Dayton on the map, became the first trial broadcast on radio. Defense attorney Clarence Darrow sparred with orator William Jennings Bryan in a drama many recall as a victory for modern science. In reality, Scopes was convicted, later overturned on a technicality, but the cultural split the trial exposed never closed. Legally, the fight centers on the First Amendment's Establishment Clause, which forbids government endorsement of religion. Supreme Court rulings have repeatedly applied that principle to schools. In 1968, Epperson v. Arkansas struck down state bans on teaching evolution. In 1987, Edwards v. Aguillard rejected balanced treatment laws that paired evolution with creationism. And in 2005, a federal court said intelligent design was creationism in disguise and could not appear in science class. The battlefield has since shifted. Today, the language is less about creationism and more about religious freedom and parental rights. In 2024, Louisiana ordered the 10 Commandments hung in every public school classroom. Last June, the 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals unanimously overturned the law as a clear Establishment Clause violation. Texas passed a similar requirement in 2025. Lawsuits challenging it are already moving through the courts. Prayer is back in the spotlight, too. A 2022 Supreme Court ruling for a praying high school football coach emboldened states to carve out official prayer times. And in June 2025, the court, in Mahmoud v. Taylor, said schools must let parents opt their children out of lessons, here LGBTQ+ content, if those lessons clash with sincerely held beliefs. Public funding for religious charter schools is another front. When the justices split 4-4 this year over an Oklahoma Catholic virtual school, tie blocked that single school but left the larger question unresolved nationwide. Taken together, these fights reveal two competing visions of public education. One insists schools remain secular so every student, whatever their faith, feels included. The other argues that suppressing religious expression is itself discrimination and that parents, not the state, should decide what children learn. The country remains split. A 2024 Gallup poll found that 37% of adults believe God created humans in their present form within the last 10,000 years. So, a century after John Scopes stepped into a Dayton courtroom, the lesson endures. The real verdict on religion's place in America's schools is still out, and the next trial is probably already on the docket.